Hey guys, it's Attorney Edward Littlejohn, and I'm here for another edition of Ask Ed Live. That's right, I'm going to be answering one of the pressing estate planning and probate questions for the week. This week's question is about the 5-year audit, right? The 5-year look back, and what is it? So for many people who don't know, whenever you apply for Medicaid, and this is kind of a segue from last week's video about the long-term care cost, right? The goal is to protect your assets and make sure that you qualify for Medicaid. In order to qualify for Medicaid, you have to complete an application. And typically, once you complete the application with the Department of Job and Family Services, they review your assets and they basically do a 5-year or 60-month audit of your assets, okay? And so what that means is they look back over the last 60 months and they look for the assets that you've had, any bank accounts that you've had, any, life insurance, particularly whole life policies, boats, cars, different assets that you've had. And then they want to see, well, why do you qualify for Medicaid now? Currently, a single person can have $2,000 of liquid assets, being money in a bank account, a whole life policy with $2,000 cash value, $2,000 worth of stocks. And so Medicaid wants to know, well, how did you go from all of these assets to basically no assets? Okay. And so a common misconception that people have is that they won't qualify for Medicaid, or they'll lose out on an opportunity to get Medicaid. And the way I like to explain it to people is when we apply for Medicaid. So let's say we're going to apply for Medicaid in 2023, and we'll call this the application date for when we're going to apply for Medicaid. Medicaid and the department, they look back 5 years. Okay? So we come all the way back to 2018. And so what they're looking for is, what assets did you own back in 2018 that you don't have now? Now, let's say in 2018 you had $100,000 in your bank account, and now you have zero. What they're going to do is they want to know, well, what happened to that money? They're going to want to see your bank statements during that 60-month period. They're going to want to see any receipts or invoices to show that this $100,000 went for, some investment, or maybe you bought a house or a car, something. They want to see what happened. Maybe you gifted it away, right? That's legal to gift it away. Either way, they want to figure out what happened to the money, okay? But let's say we're in a little bit of a period right here where we gave the $100,000 away. Transferred. Typically, you can still get into a nursing home, but you might not be eligible for Medicaid benefits, right? And so that means you're going to be private pay, or maybe your family will help out and pay for your coverage, but you won't be eligible for Medicaid. Now, there's a whole actuary formula where they look at the value of the asset and your age, but for $100,000, let's pretend the monthly cost, as we learned last week, was about $8,000. So at $100,000, there's 12 months of private pay that would have been available to you to pay for your own nursing home care. And since you took that $100,000 and you transferred it, and now you need to go into the nursing home, you will not be eligible to receive Medicaid benefits for 12 months. So now, looking forwards, there's a 12-month waiting period. Okay, so now there's a 12-month waiting period before Medicaid would actually take over all of your bills while you're in the nursing home. Now, with my team and I, we can help you apply for Medicaid, right? We can help you protect your assets. There are legal things that you can do now to protect your assets against the cost of long-term care and to make sure that you're eligible for Medicaid when you need it, okay? Now, this example was very specific to a single person. When there are husband and wife, so spouses, the analysis is slightly different because we have what we call a community spouse, and that's the spouse that does not go into the nursing home. And then we have the institutionalized spouse, which is the spouse that goes into the nursing home. And so there are other considerations that the Department of Medicaid looks at when determining eligibility for a couple versus a single person. If you're interested in learning more, give us a call, 740-346-2899. And remember, where there's a will, there's a way. And where there's no will, then there's probate.